Hi everyone, welcome back to AireArt. This is Ariel, and today I will be showing you how I did this digital painting on my iPad. So I basically started out thinking about what type of background I want. So I decided to go with kind of like a space theme looking type of thing. I thought it would look really cool with the colors that I had in my mind that I really wanted to go about. So I chose this really beautiful purple color. I love purple, to be honest. It's so this is a Nubella. I think that's what it's called. So yeah, I just put in all of the colors, maybe one by one. And I love that the Procreate app actually allows you to just do these types of effects with just the brushes. You don't have to make anything like this yourself. It makes it really fast and easy when you are trying to create, very nice backgrounds. When I paint, oil paint, backgrounds are my least favorite thing to do, but the Procreate app and just painting online in general is making it really easy for me. So at this point, I was deciding, should I put in glitter? What else should I put? Because I thought that just looked a little bit too plain. So I chose the Pulse tool, and I changed it to the colors that fit where in the Nubella that I had. So as you can see, I chose the blues and the purples. I thought it might make it light up a little bit more. So this painting is actually of Zendaya, or at least I tried to get a likeness of her. Later on within the you'll notice how I changed it up, of how I made it her, and I really tried as hard as I could, but I couldn't really get the likeness that good. But I think I did a pretty good job to be an animated version of her. So I basically started out by adding in a new layer, because when I do draw, I like to add in multiple layers so that if I want to take something out, I can just easily remove it without messing up anything else that I've already created. So how I do my portraits, I like to start out basically creating the initial shape, as I did in the first video I did. I created my circle first, and then I also, finished up the shape of the head. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be the initial shape to get us going. I'm using one of the airbrush tools. I use the medium brush. And I just chose a color for my undertone of her skin. It can be any color you want, to be honest. It just is mostly about what you want to start off as. And this will be the underlining the underlining color of everything that we're gonna do. So I kind of moved it around because I noticed that I don't want it right there. I kind of want it more on this, I wanted it more towards the right. Painting is actually so much more easier than it looks, to be honest. You just have to be very patient, really patient, to get to the outcome that you want. And to be honest, you can stop at any given point. It's just whenever, when do you want to stop? When does it look done for you? To be honest, this painting, I really could have went a little bit more and deeper, but I had already worked on it for about an hour or two, and I had no more time for today to do the painting. So I'm just adding in a few more colors to her neck and collarbones and her shoulders as well. I'm just adding in, just an underlining color. And also, during this time, I also started adding in some of the highlights that I seen. I mean, painting is not, there's no rules when it comes to drawing or painting. It's just basically what you feel, your intuition. Because, to be honest, I feel as though every movement we make on a painting, even if it's the first one, is it's all a mistake, and we're fixing it until we're finished, or until we think we're finished. Everything's a big mistake, and we just gotta fix it. Because right now this looks like a whole bunch of nothing. I don't think that this would get to where we are now. So I added in another layer because I'm adding in some of the details to the face. It's just going to be like shadows and highlights and placements of the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And I'm just, adding it in, not even caring about what shape I put. I'm literally just adding a mark for where I want it to be. This doesn't have to be like the whole eye drawn in detail. No, it's literally just a mark. And I noticed that I put the lip too high, so I put like a little mark of where it should end. And also I did the eyebrows a little bit too high right here as well, but I mean, it's totally fine. We're gonna fix it all later. And now I'm just going in and trying to add her facial shape that I can see. As you can see right now, because I added in that really thick airbrush of the nose, that messes me up later on within the video because I made the nose too high when it was facing up when it should have been facing down. And you'll see me confront that later on. I should have fixed that here and now, but I didn't think about it. Added another layer again. Again, when I'm kind of nervous about what I'm adding, I like to be able to add a new layer. But with hair, I always want to add a different layer because I don't want the hair to affect like where I'm drawing or like where I'm adding shadows. Even though some of the shadows and stuff that I am adding might be covered up by the hair, I always want to do the hair in a different layer because it makes it easy to delete it just in case I put it wrong, and it also helps me to color it in later on. When you do add different layers, it kind of keeps the painting organized. You can go back to whichever part you want to go back to, and it won't let you draw on top of a layer that you really like. And that was very helpful. Probably one of my favorite things from switching from oil paints or like regular painting to digital. That's one thing that I really fell in love with. And right now I was thinking about adding in some highlights, but I'm not gonna do it because I'll just wait for all the hair texture and stuff later. And this is the reference photo of Zendaya that I'm going off of. I think that she's a really good reference for drawing or art or whatever. She has a very big role in fashion nowadays. And she is getting like much bigger now from where she was when she first started, which is great for her. So as you can see, I want it to tilt the head a little bit more than the initial picture. I didn't want to completely copy the picture. I wanted Zendaya as a reference, and I kind of wanted to make her into like my own character. So I tilted her head up a little bit more. I just needed, this photo as a reference, also the ones below, so that just in case I want to change her face up a little bit better. another thing that I love about the Procreate app is that you can move and you can edit and maybe like enlarge it or decrease the size of certain things that you've drawn, just in case you did it wrong. I would have had to erase all of that if I were drawing with a pencil, but since I am doing this digitally, I can just, edit it real quick and then it's where I need it to be. And then, you can switch back between layers. Like here, I'm going back within this layer to add in some more details. So I'm just adding in some highlights to where I see fit for them. And later on, I'm gonna increase the brush size because it is a little bit too small for what I want to do. My favorite tool to paint with on the iPad is probably the airbrush brushes. I mean, I like how they allow you to have the oil painting brush and all that, but this one, it just seems more real to what I'm trying to get to, rather than brushes that try to imitate like acrylic and watercolors. I think that the airbrush is it's the one for me, I guess. So this is where I really start to add a lot of the likeness that I see within the photo. I'm trying to get the color of I'm not really focused on the color, I'm more focused on the value scale of what she's doing, of what the face and her makeup is doing with the light combined. I'm just trying to go off of that, and I'm not going too light right now because I do want to be able to add in lighter tones later on within the painting. And right now this is all rough, so going back in, adding in some of the highlight for the nose, and I notice that it's a little bit yellow, she has a few yellow tints within her highlight. She also has lots of pinks and oranges. You always want to make sure that you don't go too light or too dark until the end. And I choose that within digital painting and traditional. So I'm going back in with a new layer where I will begin to add in some lining details. I'm just trying to get a better view of the painting that I've made so far, looking back at my reference and all of that. Just trying to figure out where I am in the stage of the painting. So after this, I actually stopped recording, so the rest of the video is going to have to be a time lapse from the Procreate app. So basically, just as I did, I'm just adding in a lot of the colors and just all the highlights that I see fit that needs to go in certain areas. And I'm also blending as I'm going along with all of that. I added in some of the facial features, and again, I'm going with thin layers, moving and adjusting the face as I see fit. And right here, I'm having a problem with the nose. Like I talked about earlier, it's a little bit too high. Should have been putting it down more. I'll confront that later on. So, you know, I lightened up the face a little bit. I just went over the whole face with an airbrush, and I took a color that I thought would look a little bit more like the one in the reference. And at this point, I feel like I kind of lost Zendaya. It looked more like Rihanna right here. I don't know what I was doing, but I was, you know, still steadily trying to get to where I need to be. Again, I'm not trying to make this exactly her. It's just more like a reference, and I'm just trying to get like a likeness of Zendaya. I'm not trying to get the image. I'm trying to get like what would feel like, okay, this is Zendaya. Just adding in a few details, the makeup, the eyelashes. Lips are actually one of my favorite things to do. I wish I had the real video that I thought I was recording. I could basically show you how I did them. So I just added in some of the highlight with the illuminator brushes, and I just blended that out to make it not stand out as much. I'm doing the same thing with the shoulder bones. I'm sorry, with the collarbones and the neck. Adding in the hair, just a few of the highlights. I actually had a really good time drawing this. I feel like it was one of the more detailed pieces that I've done since I've transitioned from traditional to digital, and I'm really loving how much I can get done within a smaller amount of time, and also just seeing what all I can do with different tools. The medium's amazing, and I do recommend it for anybody else who is thinking about transitioning. So about right here, that's when I started noticing that, you know, hey, this is looking more and more like Zendaya the more that I add. So right here, I just kind of totally ignored the picture, and I was just basically stylizing her and making her one of my own characters, but, you know, still trying to make her look like Zendaya. So now I'm just adding in some earrings, some more hair, adding the mouth and the lips. Right here, I'm just, you know, adding some personality within the character that I created. And you guys, I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that you enjoy this work of art that I made. My name is Ariel. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. This has been AireArt.